3.5 millimeter headphone jack. It has been around since the 1960s and remains one of the most recognized connectors in the world. Originally designed for telephone switchboards in a larger form, it was later miniaturized for use in portable radios and personal audio devices. The 3.5 millimeter jack carries analog audio signals, and depending on the number of metal rings on the plug, it can handle stereo output, microphone input, or both at once. Most smartphones, laptops, and headphones used it as the default audio connection for decades. 6.35 millimeter jack. This is the larger version of the same basic connector family, and it predates the 3.5 millimeter variant by many years. Commonly called a quarter-inch jack, it has been a standard in professional audio equipment since the early days of amplifiers and mixing boards. You find it on electric guitars, bass guitars, studio headphones, and audio interfaces. The size gives it a more secure physical connection, which matters in live performance settings where cables get moved around constantly. XLR. This connector is defined by its circular shape and locking mechanism, and it became the backbone of professional audio. Developed in the 1950s by James Cannon, the 3-pin version became the industry standard for microphones and balanced audio connections. Balanced audio means the signal is sent along two conductors with opposite polarity, and any noise picked up along the cable gets canceled out when the signal is combined at the destination. That property makes XLR ideal for long cable runs in concert halls, broadcast studios, and live venues. RCA. These connectors are named after the Radio Corporation of America, which introduced them in the 1940s for connecting phonographs to amplifiers. They come in pairs, typically red and white for stereo audio, and sometimes with a third yellow connector for composite video. The signal they carry is unbalanced analog, meaning they work well over short distances but can pick up interference on longer runs. They are still common on home theater components today. Optical audio, also called Toslink. This port transmits audio as pulses of light rather than electrical current. It was developed by Toshiba in the early 1980s and first appeared on their CD players. Because it uses light, there is complete electrical isolation between the two connected devices, which eliminates a type of interference called ground loop hum. You find these ports on televisions, soundbars, game consoles, and AV receivers. The main limitation is that it cannot carry high-bandwidth audio formats like uncompressed surround sound, which is where newer connections have stepped in. Coaxial digital audio. This port carries the same type of digital audio signal as optical, but through a copper wire instead of light. It uses an RCA-style connector, which can make it easy to confuse with analog RCA, though the signal inside is completely different. Coaxial digital tends to be more reliable over longer cable runs and is less sensitive to the small alignment issues that can affect optical connectors. High-end audio equipment often includes it as an alternative to optical, and some audiophiles prefer it for its consistent signal transmission. HDMI audio return channel. HDMI carries both video and audio through a single cable, which made it a natural replacement for multiple separate connections in home theater setups. Within the HDMI standard, a feature called ARC, or Audio Return Channel, allows audio to travel in both directions over the same cable. This means a television can send audio back to a soundbar or receiver without needing a separate optical cable. A later version called EARC, introduced with HDMI 2.1, significantly expanded the bandwidth available for audio, enabling lossless formats like Dolby Atmos and DTS:X at full quality. USB audio. USB was not originally designed with audio in mind, but it became a practical audio interface once the technology matured. USB audio works by converting sound into a digital stream and sending it to a device that contains its own digital to analog converter. USB microphones, headsets, and external audio interfaces all use this method. DisplayPort audio. DisplayPort is primarily known as a video connection for monitors, but it also carries multi-channel audio alongside the video signal. Like HDMI, it can deliver audio to a monitor or display device without a separate cable. The connection is common on computers and laptops that use DisplayPort for their primary display output, and monitors with built-in speakers or headphone jacks can receive their audio through the same cable that handles the picture. Thunderbolt audio. Thunderbolt ports share their physical connector with USB-C, but operate on a different protocol with much higher data transfer speeds. Because of that bandwidth, Thunderbolt is well suited for professional audio interfaces that require low latency and high channel counts. Recording studios and music producers use Thunderbolt interfaces to connect multiple microphones and instruments simultaneously with minimal delay.